To Major Libby Weis, who's joining us, a spokesperson with the IDF. Thank you so much, Major Weis, for joining us here on Times Now. Well, it has been 38 days since the war began. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has been troubling the world. What would you say about that?
Well, first, I think it's important to clarify that we are not targeting the civilians in the Gaza Strip. And if things were to go as we have hoped, then there wouldn't be any civilians who would be injured or pay any price in the Gaza Strip. And unfortunately, Hamas has no regard for their own civilians. And we are seeing that time and time again. We have instructed civilians now for several weeks to move from the northern part of the Strip to the southern part of the Strip. More than 900,000 have moved, but we know that Hamas is making it very, very difficult for them to do so. We've provided humanitarian aid. More than 1,000 trucks have gone in with humanitarian goods. That includes food, water, and medication. But we know that Hamas has a very strong control over everything that's going on within the Gaza Strip, and certainly has little regard for the well-being of their own people, unfortunately.
Well, in fact, the IDF has said that they tried their best to send in fuel to the Al-Shifa hospital, which is, of course, the biggest hospital in Gaza. There are reports which are coming in that thousands of them have fled, but many of them cannot. You've said that there is an ultimatum which has been given repeatedly. They've been asked to move out of this area. However, many of them, and this includes babies as well, who are trapped inside, for example, the Al-Shifa hospital, those who are unable to leave and flee.
Well, we are in close communication with the heads of Shifa Hospital to find a way to facilitate the movement of people from the hospital outside of it. But again, I think this really speaks to the just disregard that Hamas has for their own civilians. Of course, Hamas is the sovereign in the Gaza Strip. They are responsible for the well-being of civilians there. And effectively, we, the Israeli military, are now the only party in this conflict that has any regard for civilians. And it's devastating and I think a huge just tragedy to the Palestinian people as well, that Hamas does not make the necessary and simple efforts that would be involved to evacuate civilians generally, and certainly to evacuate civilians within a hospital. And instead, they're using the hospital for their own terror purposes.